gluten-free cinnamon rolls, and I have never done this before. I'm making them from scratch, not from some break and bake container, and I'm a little bit nervous. The recipe is more complex than I thought when I found it and ordered all of the ingredients. So now I actually have to make it, and we're gonna see how it goes. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I do not want these to be extremely sweet because, I don't know, Thanksgiving already involves turkey and tryptophan, which makes you sleepy. And I don't think we need a blood sugar crisis on top of it. So I am using sweeteners that are more low glycemic, things like coconut sugar, and actually a new form of sugar that I ordered on Amazon. It gets iffy reviews. It's powdered maple syrup instead of powdered sugar. We'll see how it goes. That's for the icing, so I figure, you know, the icing seems like the least of my worries. Let's get started. Here with the recipe. The recipe says add butter to a large glass bowl. I don't have a glass bowl, I have a metal bowl, so I'm going to use this glass bowl and then transfer into my metal bowl and then melt in the microwave. That's why it needs to be glass. You cannot put this in the microwave. It would be a disaster. I have my grass-fed butter from Costco. 1/4 cup butter. So we'll microwave this until it melts. Doesn't say. So until it melts. And then you add the milk, 1 tablespoon sugar, then microwave for an additional 45 to 50 seconds. Stir with a spatula and take a temperature using an instant read thermometer. Let's find my meat thermometer. I've honestly never used this for anything but cooking meat. According to my meat thermometer, it's 68.5 degrees in my house, which is actually correct. So I think we can trust this guy. Okay, time to check and see. 91, 92. It's kind of stalling around 92. It needs to be 110, so we're gonna put it back in the microwave. Then we add our yeast. I have never cooked with yeast before, so this will be a new experience for me. The first time I ever made gluten-free cookies, they came out in a pan of crumbles. I have no idea what I did wrong, but it was basically just granola. Oh, 101, 102, we're looking good. My fiancé has been really stressed at work lately. He's just got a lot going on, and we are celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow, the two of us. I just wanted to do something special for the morning. I thought that making cinnamon rolls would be really sweet. My mom used to make cinnamon rolls on like Christmas morning or Thanksgiving morning. I'm gonna make the recipe today and then keep it refrigerated so that in the morning I can just pop it in the oven as soon as we wake up. 120, 130, what? Okay, it's too hot. It's too hot. We'll let it chill for a second. I also need to chill for a second. Oh, perfect. It says meanwhile in another bowl. So meanwhile. We'll use this bowl because we haven't used it yet. There's different kinds of gluten-free flour. This is a 1-to-1 mix. So if a recipe calls for 1 cup of just normal flour, you can use 1 cup of this. You don't have to add anything, you're good to go. 2 1/2 cups. Sometimes they tell you not to scoop from the bag. Usually they say because you don't want it to be hard packed in some recipes. Like I recently made a coconut flour cake. It was like a lemon cake. It's really good. And they wanted you to scoop the flour into the cup because it kept the flour from packing heavy. And coconut flour is a really dense flour, so you definitely don't want more than you need. You want just the right amount. With this, I think you can be a little bit like, I don't know. But I'm spooning it in because I need roughly 2 1/2. And I have a 1/2 cup over there, but I'm just eyeballing it. I am not a precision baker. That is why I make cookies and they turn into crumbles. But I'll never learn my lesson. I'll never learn it, ever. I like the creative art of baking. I like to pretend like it's regular cooking. It's not. It's precise. Okay. We'll see. We'll see how this works. So we have all the flour. Woo! Looks pretty. baking powder. 2 teaspoons. Teaspoons always look bigger to me than I think they should be. But I always imagine a teaspoon would look more like this. This is half a teaspoon. Anyway, not important. Ooh. 1. Okay, let's check the temperature of this guy. Ooh. Oh, okay. 102, 103, 113. I think it's good. I think it's time. I think it's time. Sprinkle in yeast, then stir gently, and let sit foamy 8 minutes. Okay, let's see. Looks different than I thought it would look. Kind of looks like rabbit food for ants. Like if rabbits were the size of ants. Oh, I hope it foams. I really hope it foams. I hope it foams. It's supposed to foam. If it doesn't foam, we're kind of screwed. Let's foam, let's foam, let's foam, let's foam. Oh, is that foam? Is that foam? I don't think it's foaming. I don't think it's foaming. Wait, I see some bubbles. I see some carbon dioxide action. There's been at least 1 bubble. That's technically foam. It's not a lot of foam, but it's technically foam. Okay, so sprinkle it in, stir it gently, and let it sit until foamy. Until foamy. Until foamy. Okay, it doesn't have to, okay, it's foaming. Very slowly starting to foam. Oh my gosh, I wish I could high five you. I'm so happy that kind of seemed to maybe work. Moving on. Now I need salt. Salt, I never measure salt. I always just sprinkle salt in, and I gotta get this shaker going because whoop, it like gets stuck and then eventually it just goes. I just eyeball it. It just feels more like I'm one with the recipe. I'm part of it. It's part of me. Start together. One time, I had mastered the gluten-free cookie. I make them at least twice a month. One time, I was pouring in the salt and it was getting stuck and it wasn't coming out of the shaker, and then all of a sudden, like the whole thing of salt came out, and I tried to spoon it out of the recipe as best as I could, and then I was like, it's not gonna taste that salty, it's fine. They were the saltiest cookies. It was disgusting. It would make you gag to put one of these cookies in your mouth. But we did eat them. That's the worst. Like, we weren't gonna waste the food, we ate them. Yeah. Always gotta test that salt shaker. Just test it in your hand, get it going, because it likes to just compact down there. Gravity or something. Okay. Add to the wet ingredients in 2 batches. 2 batches, what does that mean? Add wet ingredients in 2 batches. So, do you add half the wet ingredients and then wait and add the other half? I think that's what I'm gonna do. If you are smarter than me and that's wrong, you do it your way. Your cinnamon rolls will probably taste a lot better. But we're gonna try it this way. I need to add the foaming. It's really foamy, guys. I'm really proud of this. It's really foamy. Oh, it's gorgeous. Honestly, it looks so nasty, but the fact that I made this nastiness is just like really satisfying. I did it. Okay. I need to add this to this, and then I need to cover with a tea towel and set it somewhere warm for an hour. She has an oven bread-proof setting. That's her warm place. Bread-proof setting. Bread? I do not have that. My oven is... My oven has a chicken nugget setting. I am not messing with you. It does not have a bread-proof setting. I've never made chicken nuggets, but it's very satisfying to know if I ever did. I have a setting just for that. Anyway, we're gonna use the sun. The sun is going to heat my dough. Oh, I'm getting excited. This is like almost done. This is so foamy. It's so foamy and satisfying because I made it look like that. So baking for me has been a passion since I went through cancer. I became a holistic nutritionist at that time in my life because I started to realize that food could be medicine, or it could at least be something that helped me feel better. I got really passionate about learning what I was putting into my body and how it was impacting my health. Because I cleaned up my diet so much and I used to eat just awful food. I ate terrible food. But as I went through cancer, I started to learn, okay, I need to eat vegetables, I need to eat lean proteins, I need to cut out all the junk food. But I still had a sweet tooth because I'm human. Learning to bake these like kind of alternative recipes, gluten-free and sugar-free or low glycemic or whatever, using things like powdered maple sugar. I just love that somebody decided that this needed to exist. And I really hope it works well. Regardless, I tried all these different flours, forms of sugars. I was just making my own recipes, going on these niche blogs to find other people's recipes, and I just loved baking, and it was like an antidepressant while I was going through this really scary time in my life. Baking it just allowed me to shut off the world and become one with the kitchen. And to this day, it really boosts my mood if I'm having a bad day. I just decide I'm gonna bake something. The cherry on top is that at the end, you have something delicious to eat. The process itself is very satisfying to me, but then the end result is even better. So it's a win-win. If you live with somebody, a roommate, significant other, your family, it's a win-win-win because then you get to share this joy with other people, and that will also boost your mood. It really will. It will. Okay, let's add this in. 2 batches. It's so foamy. Ah! Okay. Oh. This is so weird. Yeast is crazy, man. So weird. Oh, okay. I think we need 1 more spoonful to make this an official batch. Okay, batch 1. Ooh. Also, there's supposed to be more sugar in this recipe. When does that come in? Oh, I know. I know when it comes in. Never mind. I'm being stupid. So the dough actually doesn't have much sugar. It's when you make the roll, you roll in the sugar, and then you ice it. You ice it with powdered sugar. It's definitely got a lot of sugar. It's just not in the dough so much. Okay, let's do the other half because this is not working. Woo! At some point that got cut off and I have no idea why. I don't actually really know where we cut off there. I know I was stirring something. Luckily I had a second camera also recording, so none of that was fully lost. This looks more like well combined, so we're done with that. Let's cover it with a tea towel. I am dressed for a fitness commercial audition because I have an audition for a fitness commercial. So I'm gonna go film that and then check the dough. Let's do it. Thank you for auditioning to this project. Thank you for auditioning to this project. Sure. Undisclosed nationwide gym chain commercial. You're in a boxing or kickboxing class. Wah! Perform 3/4 to the camera. So like to here.
Kickboxing world champion, you can check out, palm down, shoulder protects the cheek, pull right back.
Okay. I am embarrassed. I am embarrassed to say that fake workout for an audition actually made me breathless. I think kickboxing is the real deal. Maybe I should enroll in a school or something. Classes. Whew, that was hard. Anyway, back to the cinnamon roll baking because life is all about balance. We do a fake workout, we make fake cinnamon rolls, except they're real. They are real. They're just not real today, they're real tomorrow. That's when they will be in the oven. I just peeked at it and I don't think this is rising. It hasn't been quite an hour, so I guess we'll let nature do its thing. No! No! Oh my God. After all of that, I missed one sentence in this recipe. after they do this whole thing about if your mixture does not foam, likely your yeast was old, yada, yada, yada. I kind of glazed over all that because I was like, it's foaming, we're good. Until foamy. Okay. I moved on to the next step, but after that little statement, there was a whole other sentence that said, add whisked egg and remaining 1/3 cup sugar. So when I was saying that this dough is not very sweet, so there's supposed to be more sugar in this recipe. When does that come in? Oh, I know when it comes in, never mind. I'm being stupid. I was wrong. This dough should be very sweet, and it should also have an egg in it. So it's sitting out there in the sun and it's missing 2 vital ingredients. And I didn't realize it until I was cleaning up the kitchen and I realized that I didn't use an egg yet. And I thought, that's so strange. The recipe called for eggs and I already made the dough, so is the egg going in the filling? That's weird. We have an option here to go outside, get the dough, whisk the egg, add the sugar to the egg, add the sugary egg mixture to the dough, and just, I guess, let it rise a second time. Okay, let's get to work. This is a disaster. Crisis. When I said that I wanted to be one with the recipe, I did not take into consideration that meant this recipe would be a hot mess. Let's see if we can fix it. One egg. I don't know why I feel like all of a sudden I need to move fast, because this has literally been sitting outside for probably 45 minutes. I don't know what 30 seconds more is gonna do. We're moving fast, but not so fast that we mess up again. We're not gonna mess up again. Whisk, 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 whisk. Looks pretty whiskey to me. That looks pretty whiskey. Whiskey. I wonder where the term whiskey came from. Like the drink. Whiskey. I don't know. That 2 batches thing, this was supposed to be a part of that. Okay. That I'll deal with in a minute. We are gonna pray that this works. Here is another reason why it's such a great idea to prep your recipes the day before you're gonna eat them. Because if this was me on Thanksgiving, it just wouldn't be a good time for anybody. Okay, this, honestly, it could be worse. I know the recipe said it should not be overly sticky. This feels pretty sticky. What can you do? You can only do your best in life. This is my best world. What does it mean when this is your best? Okay, this has small lumps. It feels like dough. And I think if I put it outside now, it will rise. I hope the yeast is still active. I don't know. I don't know the science of cooking. I don't know the biology of cooking. Isn't yeast like a living organism? It feels like dough is kind of alive, like it rises and it grows, and just like a lot is happening with dough. I know yeast is a fungus and it's just a little bit unappetizing. On the bright side, I know why this wasn't rising. At least I figured it out. It's not a mystery anymore. It's a mystery why I keep attempting to bake when I'm clearly so bad at it. Now the question is, for all the intuitive bakers like myself out there, do we wait an hour for the dough to rise? Or do we give it a half hour because it already did a solid 45? I think it's a question that we have to answer in the moment. We're gonna break and we'll see. Fingers crossed, praying that I have an end product to show you. I I do think it's risen. It has risen. It has risen, indeed. I don't exactly know how many minutes I left it out to rise in the end, but we're gonna go for it. We're going for it. Is it a bad idea? Potentially. Potentially? Potentially. But it at least got at least 30 minutes. That went everywhere. Okay, and now my hands are lightly oiled. Let's see if we can get this guy into a rectangle. The softened butter, I put this out in the sun and it started to melt onto the sidewalk. So it is definitely soft. Oh, thank you! Is UPS? UPS, okay. I don't know how soft it's supposed to be, but I suppose butter is moisturizing, so it is that. That's not the answer. That was not the answer. I'm just pulling up the dough and making breaks in my beautiful dough. That was, what I just did was a terrible idea. I truly don't know how to do this. This is some ASMR. This is gonna take me all day, I'm also realizing. I don't know if any breakfast is worth an entire day of your life. We're gonna find out. This is a lot of butter. This is a lot of butter. The good thing about making your own desserts is you do start to really realize what goes into it and what you're putting into your body. Like when I was in Paris, you'd walk by a bakery and see amazing pastries and like croissants. They're just butter and flour and they're so amazing. And you never think about how much butter am I actually eating? About this much is the answer. It's about this much. I'm not anti-butter, but I don't know that, you know, eating multiple croissants in one sitting is a great idea. I would say don't do that if you respect your arteries. But if you're going to Paris, you should have at least one croissant while you're there. I would suggest one every day. Anyway, I think this is well buttered. I cannot get this butter off my hands. Okay. The fun part, we add the sugar to the butter. The next step I have previewed, and I have to say I'm not looking forward to it. There's a lot of sugar and a lot of cinnamon. It's a lot. I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to do this, but somehow I'm supposed to use the parchment paper to roll this thing towards me, not using my fingers. Oh, let's just see if it makes more sense when I attempt to do it. Yeah, no, it's already not working, so we're just gonna roll it by hand. Okay, I think now I could use this. Nope, 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 we're just not doing that. Maybe. That was really stupid. That was really stupid because all that sugar is not on the roll. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know where to go from here. There's no way home. This is done. This is done. Okay. We're gonna improvise. It says to cut this into fourths. 1, 2/4, or 1/2. We did it. It's done. Not great. Thing is, it's a good analogy of my life. It's always a mess, and I just don't pay attention to that reality, and it usually works out in the end. Somehow things come together. Let's see. Really get that coated. I think they're gonna be fine. Our last and final step. Place rolls somewhere warm to rise until puffy, 30 or 40 minutes. Okay, so those will be, actually, what do you think? Should I let them rise until puffy right now, or should I wait for tomorrow? This is a serious question. Do I need to bake them immediately? Okay, she actually tells you. Okay, so Iowa girl eats is where I got this recipe. Iowa girl says, do not let them rise today. Cover them tightly in saran wrap. Let them sit in the fridge, and then tomorrow I need to let them rise. All right, let's get those out of the sun. Making the cinnamon rolls, I have a couple of thoughts. One, I will never do this recipe again. I'm sorry, I know this video should inspire you to try this recipe, and you should. I don't see myself doing it again. It took all day. It's taken me hours. And I'm not even confident that the end result will be worth it. So that's a little bit demoralizing. Two, I did have fun. So I had fun. It's fun to cook, it's fun to bake. I highly recommend it. It's just my personal opinion. I don't think coffee shops and bakeries are charging enough. This is hard work. It challenges you in so many ways. It's, yeah, but we did it. We finished, and all we can do is hope that people are appreciative. That's all we can do. Happy Thanksgiving.